Howdy friends of Scot-Free Running, welcome to episode 4 of the Sub 250 Port Fairy Ferry. So I am, at the time of making this video, about 2 days away from turning 25 years old. I'm also celebrating my 2nd birthday sober, so I actually gave up alcohol in June of last year, in 2021. So yeah, last October was my first sober birthday, so yeah, it's quite exciting to be having my 2nd sober birthday in a couple of days. We haven't got too much planned for it. I think we're gonna go to the movies and then feast on some delicious vegan food. But I've also got a session planned for my birthday. Of course, the birthday workout is set by the coach, so I imagine it's gonna be a spicy one, not necessarily because coach knows it's my birthday, but just because Tony has been giving me some great threshold workouts to look forward to. So thank you again, Tony at the Tony Smith Running Club. Info is linked below as always. But today's session is a 3 times 8 minute at threshold effort. So I'm gonna be aiming between the 3:39, 3:45 kilometer window. I think I'll be running a sort of slightly slower 500 meter float before reps. As always, the workout will be in the description below, but I'll be sure to report in after the session to let you know how it goes. And just before we get started with today's workout, I just wanted to thank Sky once again for supporting the channel and for supplying me with some kit earlier this year. This purple singlet from Sky is one of my favorites to run, and super lightweight, super cool, as well as the white hat that they sent over. It's yeah, really cool, really nicely absorbs the sweat while I'm running in these warmer conditions here in Australia. Do make sure to check out Sky. I've linked their site down below. They're a really great brand that seem quite happy to support young up and coming athletes. So yeah, thanks Sky. For today's workout, I will be wearing the Saucony Endorphin Pro 2 on my feet. I've previously worn these guys for a few of my sessions, and I really enjoy the snappiness and kind of the firm nature of these shoes just for the shorter, faster workouts. So yeah, let's see how they fare in this 3 times 8 minutes workout. It is the next day now. That brutal 3 times 8K session is in the bag. That was a hot one, guys. I didn't time that right at all during the day. I went out at about 11 AM. It was 18 degrees, bright sunshine outside, and despite my full motivation, good morning doggy, despite my full motivation to get the session smashed in the bag, oh, I struggled. It was hot, but I will say, with that added challenge of the heat, I'm so proud of my efforts during that session. Looking back on my heart rate, I was way above threshold zone. I was up in the 190, so definitely not the controlled effort that I was looking for. But I will say, within myself, I kept that comfortably uncomfortable as suggested by the coach. And yeah, super happy with the splits that I got. I walked away with a 3:40 per kilometer average for the first 8 minute rep, a 3:42 for the second, and a 3:48 for the third. So not quite the even split that I'd like to hit in the session. But you know what? A big lesson learned for the next session that's going to be a little bit hotter. I know that I need to bring the pace back just slightly. But wicked session, loved it. I followed up that session with an easy 4K in the gym on the treadmill. I was hoping that a nice indoor gym session would, you know, bring the effort down a bit, nice and easy, just a cool down. But no, it was bloody hot in the gym and I was sweating absolute buckets. And embarrassingly, I didn't top up the deodorant supplies after the first session, so I was rather stinky in the gym. That's what we go to the gym for, right? To be smelly together. But anyway, today's run, I'm out on a 12K. Let's see, 10.7K into the run. So just the last home stretch to go. I have been running on these beautiful sort of dusty red-orange roads here in Australia. I'm absolutely loving them. Gives me the placebo that I'm soaking up all of that marathon winning spirit from the East African roads, those red muddy roads that are so notorious with the fastest runners in the world. I can only imagine, close my eyes and soak up that red dust on the bottom of my shoes. So just to sign off this run, I'd like to tell you guys about a podcast that I've just listened to on this run that was a bit of a groundbreaker for me. And it was episode 47 of the Marathon Talk, I think it was, I might be wrong, but it was with Tim Noakes. So for those of you that don't know, Tim Noakes is the author of a pretty well-known running book, almost the Bible of running, called The Law of Running. I'd only heard about this a few days ago myself for the first time, and I'm blown away so far what I've heard from Tim Noakes. So Tim Noakes puts forward this theory quite early on in this podcast. I'll put the timestamp below so you guys can hear it for yourselves, but Tim Noakes speaks of the central Guv'nor theory. So the idea being, in the brain is a governor, a central governor in this case, which limits the amount of effort that we can put out in a run or in any form of exercise. So we have our own internal limiter stopping us from over revving the engine and causing damage. And the central governor does this by giving us the feeling of lactic acid, or, you know, burning up on hotter days, just like I did during that threshold session where I'm just too hot, my skin is just wet and I'm feeling a bit drowsy. That's the central governor kicking in, telling us to slow down, which I'm pleased to say yesterday I pushed through it, but really there was a lot stopping me from getting those quicker Ks in at the end, and that was my inner central governor just telling me, come on Scott, let's slow down a bit buddy, which, you know, in many ways is a safety mechanism. But Tim Noakes puts forward the idea that actually we can all improve by going harder in our sessions and coming face to face with the central governor. So with that being said, I would love to bring the idea of challenging the central governor into this training series. And Tim Noakes suggests that just by being aware of the central governor and by telling ourselves that we are capable of meeting our targets, achieving our goals and pushing ourselves, that in itself is enough for us to start pushing against that resistance that we have within us that is telling us to stop. So I will continue telling myself that I'm capable of that sub 250, that 2:49 marathon time. So as we are entering a new chapter on the Scot-Free Running channel, as we've gone over 50 episodes, and as I enter a new year of my life tomorrow, as I turn 25, I thought this would be a great occasion for us to spruce up the channel a little bit and to give ourselves a new mantra, a new slogan at the end of each video. The previous 50 videos have ended with the slogan, find gratitude, find peace. And this is a mantra that I hold very dearly in my heart. It's a mantra that reminds me every day to stay grounded, to stay present, and to stay grateful. And in turn, I find that peace within. Now, for the next 50 episodes, or at least for the next year until I turn 26, I would like us to reflect back on my favourite madness song, which is It Must Be Love, a song that holds one of my favourite lyrics from all of the musical universe, and that is nothing more, nothing less. Love is the best. Sing it with me. Let's take that line and let's remember that to get that sub 250 in February of next year at the Port Fairy Marathon, I'm going to be having to test the Gov. I'm going to be having to test that central governor. So say it with me. Best is love. Test the Gov. 2:49. Let's do it, guys. See you in episode 5 of the Port Fairy Ferry.